Well, I just want to add on to your comment about how God can use anything, because that's absolutely true. And I said that at the end of this article. I said, I hope that a lot of good comes from this. I hope that in spite of everything that I've said and all the concerns I have, that, that God does do a lot from it. But at the same time, I want to say that that's the pushback that I've heard from a lot of people on an article like mine and other people who are critiquing it, is that, well, God can use anything. If one person comes to know Jesus through this, then it's successful. So I just want to say, I think that's really flawed thinking, because as a Christian, we could literally throw discernment out the door on everything with that logic. We could
Yeah.
always just say, well, God can use anything, so we don't have to be discerning about this or that. And I don't think that's the message of the New Testament. We hear over and over about the importance of discernment. And so there is a need to look at things and say, yes, of course, God can use anything. That doesn't mean that what we should be doing is throwing our discernment out the window and just promoting any kind of Jesus. This is
Yeah.
serious stuff. And the idea that, well, if just one person, oh, look, 600,000 people, but that does untold damage if it's the wrong Jesus to all the other people
That's
who have
right.
just had it more solidified in their head that they still like Jesus and they still hate those hateful Christians, which can actually make it harder to talk about Jesus in this culture.
Oh my goodness.
People
See,
aren't seeing the other end of it.
it is not a benign kind of a thing that may seem silly, and then somebody said, "Well, whatever." Even if one person, okay, well, for that one person, thank God. But what about the multitudes of others who are having false ideas reinforced, and their hostility against genuine followers of Jesus reinforced as well? I mean, that's the bigger picture. It's when you put a little poison into a meal that's otherwise tastes good, it's still going to kill you. And this is what I don't think people are taking into consideration. It's a cost benefit. And by the way, we haven't even talked about the cost. Okay, if only one person becomes a Christian for the $7 million that were spent for one commercial, then it's worth it? Well, it's not worth it if that same $7 million could have been spent elsewhere to have a salutary effect, bringing thousands upon thousands of Christians into the kingdom, or people into the kingdom to become Christians. And so that's why this, if just one thing, is not good thinking. It's childish thinking. It's not, as you put it, it's naive thinking, because there's a lot more going on here.